What is up, guys? Welcome back to Gran Turismo 3. We are picking up where we left off last time out, and today we're going to be doing some fun stuff. We're going to be handling, I believe, the front-wheel drive challenge. This will be the last time we have to do this event, I believe, which means one more outing for our very, very helpful Beetle Cup car that's cleaned house for us in the professional league. So this should be the last time we have to do this. This car has been absolutely great. I'm excited to give it a final send-off for now. Obviously, once we get into the later stuff I want to do after this challenge is over with this game, it might come back into use. So we've got 3 races. We got Deep Forest, Rome, Circuit, and Apricot Hill. I'd imagine this is going to be 3 laps, as the other races in Amateur League have been so far. But yeah, this thing is a treat. I love driving this car. It's unreasonably fast. Okay, this 5 laps, so we probably are going to see some tire wear in this race, if I had to guess. So, good thing I didn't switch the slicks like I intended to. I was not sure that was something I wanted to do, but we are going to do what we can to get this race done. Alright, here we go. First race. Imagine some of the same tires we were running on it during the professional league stuff. Looks like slicks. We'll see though. It's definitely getting a lot more wheel spin than it probably would have if we were actually on slicks. No traction whatsoever, but we are going to get ahead here as we head down into turn 1 here at Deep Forest. This is a fun track. One of my favorite ones to drive in GT7. Alright, let's head up into these kind of S's here, which I swear are a lot more violent in GT7. That might be something they actually did update, or maybe the cars I drive are just that fast. But I have lots of good memories with this track growing up. A little bit of understeer there. The fronts are starting to get some heat behind them. So we head down onto the back. Not entirely a back straight, but a back straight. That corner is much more vicious in GT7. That is one of the things they did change. They kind of straightened this sector out a little bit. It's a lot straighter in GT7. And they made that last corner before we hit back here sharp, and they made this one super sharp for those who haven't, for some reason, haven't played GT7 yet. This corner is really fun though in the GT7 version, because you can take about any car flat out through there with ease. Alright, lap 2. Not too much of a gap here. This might be a bit of a closer race than I would like. Probably because this car just does not hook up that great. But I mean, it's a 400 horsepower Beetle. Effectively, I mean, it technically is a VR6 Beetle that's front wheel drive. It's asking a lot. I mean, it's a heavy 6-cylinder with front-wheel drive, and it's making so much power for a front-wheel drive car. I should know. My actual car makes about this power. It's a little bit less power than this, but for a front-wheel drive car, you're at the limit of usability at 400 horsepower. Come on. I knew that was coming. I was trying to be brave, and did wind up biting me in the butt there a little bit. Starting to see a tinge of yellow on that front right, which is making me a little uneasy, considering we still have pretty much 2.5 laps to go. I guess 3 laps more, but you know what I mean. This track is very hard on that front right. I mean, there's a lot of left-hand turns. Alright, lap 3. So far, so good. Just north of a second gap. I'm hoping we get on some faster tracks where this car's straight line advantage will be able to pull, because I feel like the biggest hurdle is this thing is, I mean, despite the fact it's a race car underneath, it's not the best handling car out there. But again, it's a heavy front wheel drive 6-cylinder car. The VR6, as good of an engine as it is not a lightweight engine, so a lot of that weight bias is right on that front axle. It's not like the FTO where it's, you know, it's a 4-cylinder, there's no V6 in sight. It's a little bit more manageable with the weight distribution. I mean, I'd be more scared though if it was like a built Honda of some sort, because Hondas ran the front-wheel drive game during this era. Nowadays, I feel like they've lost that crown. But because I mean, the Veloster and the GTI have improved so much over the last, you know, few years, and I feel like Honda has gotten kind of complacent. The Type R is still a great car, don't get me wrong, but honestly, if you want the experience and want to save money, buy a Veloster N. If you want more luxury and you want a relatively similar experience, get a GTI. The Type R really is just for the hardcore Honda purists now. It's not like it was years ago where it ran the game and stuff like that in the front-wheel drive market, which is kind of a shame. But personally, if I'm getting one of the two, I'm getting the Integra Type S. That's more my personal preference. I prefer the more subdued nature of the Integra versus the Civic. And I've always preferred the Integra to the Civic, though, even before the FL5 stuff came around. They're definitely keeping up. That is for sure. My fronts are starting to see some wear, but they just need to hang on this lap and next. We'll see if we'll get lucky and any of these guys miraculously pit. I think we saw that with the Professional League race. A little bit understeer there. Let's see if we can end this one pretty quick on the straights. Come on, Beetle. I've talked about this before, but I debated building something kind of similar to this in real life, and I still kind of want to build a tribute to the Beetle RSI, or I guess more specifically the Beetle Cup car, because funds are not going to allow me to 4-motion swap and put a 3.2 in a Beetle. I think a more accurate would be the Beetle Cup car. Which is great, because that would give me more color options to make a tribute out of, instead of trying to do a tribute based on just one color. Because, I mean, that has kind of always been my dream VW, is to have an RSI kind of deal. We're getting all over the road here. This thing is a little difficult to see around with this camera view. That's actually, a lot of people probably wonder why I run the bumper cam. My visibility's better. That's literally it. I can see a little bit better. My depth perception sucks, because as some of you guys may know, some of you guys might not. I'm on the autism spectrum, so my depth perception is absolutely atrocious as a byproduct of that. So bumper cam can curse me sometimes, because I can't tell where the left or right front edge of the car is. I've probably done that a few times. I did it last video. I was bumping guardrails and stuff thinking I had more than enough room, when I very obviously didn't. It's such a cool car, though. I love these Beetle RSI / Cup car deals. I love the body kit. And we are across the line. That was something. That was definitely a tighter race than I would have liked, all things considered. But not too bad for a first race. I think there's only 3 races in this, so it should be a pretty painless series to close out here. Alright, let's head to our next locale. We've got Rome. I'd imagine this will also be 5 laps, but Rome is a little bit more forgiving, I think. I think it's a shorter track overall. We'll see lap time-wise if it equals out or not, but we'll see. Alright, here we go. I see we got an SR. We do have a Celica in front of me. I think it's an SS2, though, not the GTS. So not quite so much to be scared of. Alright, we are rolling. I see an Alfa Romeo, the 156 out here as well. Let's see if I can get close to this thing. Let's see what it is. Looks like it just says Celica. Doesn't say which trim level it is. Obviously, we make a lot more power than the majority of these cars, so we're destined to get ahead. But the question is how ahead will we get? Because this is definitely not the track that I would have liked for this. This straightaway here, we'll probably be able to open it up a little bit. We'll be able to pull ahead, but these corners are going to eat this thing alive. This thing does not do tight corners very well. We're already about 2 seconds ahead, so we could manage with the FTO. Ooh, I went way wide on that corner. I missed that apex by like 10 miles. I was in a whole nother county from that apex. Alright, here we go. I miss this version of Rome. I didn't mind the version that we got in GT5, but this is Rome to me. This is Rome Circuit, and I really wish they would bring this back in its original state. I mean, this was just perfection to me. This is one of my favorite tracks in GT history. It's so simple, but that's what I like about it. A lot of understeer there, but we are going to make it out alive there. We're a decent bit ahead. We got a decent gap, about 2.5 seconds. And we're still on one of the faster parts of the track here. Straight away here, I would not be surprised if we can pull to a... I'm going to take a guess that we'll have about a 3.5 second gap at the end of the race. I don't think we're going to blow this race out completely like the races we did last time out with the Escort, but I feel like this car's got enough grunt behind it. We'll be able to stretch this out a whole second and some change by the end of this race. Alright, we're heading up this hill here as we head up into these next few corners. This thing is, oh, that was sketch. Alright, anyway. This thing's great. This thing's a good car. It definitely could have cornered better, but it's not the worst thing I've ever driven. I think this is a longer race overall in comparison to Deep Forest. Did not make it out that time. Just north of 2 second gap going into lap 3. Hear those Hondas behind me. Bumper view. I don't want to lose too much pace because I'm trying to show the car off. Alright. Head back up to this section. Try not to botch it quite as bad. I still did. I saw that speedometer drop. I must have barely tapped that guardrail. Alright, now I'm just going to make it through this sector safely. Made it through safely. Alright, got this lap and then lap 5 and this race will be done. This thing's a pretty solid little car. I mean, obviously, a front-wheel drive car with this much power is not going to corner as good as a rear-wheel drive car with this much power, or an all-wheel drive car, especially with this much power, but still, it handles extremely good. So far, we are about 2.1 seconds ahead. I'm starting to think that's probably going to finish up unless I just have an ungodly good lap going into lap 5. I'm not really expecting that with how this car's been performing so far. I think I may have kind of somehow overestimated this car a little bit on this track. I thought for sure that 3.5 seconds would be more than enough room on this track with this car. Kind of tap brakes a little bit. Oh, we may have gained a decent bit of time off of that alone, because that was the best I've taken that corner. Oh, about botched it immediately, though. They definitely closed the door on me in the corners, that is for sure. But we lost a full second just off of that blunder at turn 1. Yeah, these guys know how to take corners way better than I do with those cars, which I don't entirely get. Maybe they're running a more aggressive compound that I can't run. Like they might be on racing tires or more softer compound of slicks. I think I am on slicks. I'm not on the best slicks with this car. The Celica in P2 is kind of surprising. That sector was not, that little corner complex was not good. Kind of do the same strategy. I kind of botched it immediately. Yeah, we're definitely not getting 3.5 seconds on this. I didn't cut in early enough for that corner. Yeah, 1.6 second gap. If I could have taken that corner like I did the first time out, probably would have had that all day. Alright, one more race to go. That was kind of an interesting run. I was hoping that we would have a lot more of a gap there. Apricot Hill, excuse me, Apricot Hill is going to be interesting. This track has been the bane of my existence this playthrough, especially the reverse light variant. So, not looking forward to this one, but we should be okay. Pretty solid grid. 156. I did see the FTO is back, so that will definitely be something. If I remember correctly, is this not the same exact layout we had when I did this in the professional league? All right, spinning like crazy, spinning in the third, spinning in the fourth. There we go. Finally, not getting that traction light flashing on me. All right, heading down the hill into the chicane here, which is typically the end of the lap, but is here within the first couple of corners. These cold tires are not helping me out at all. Alright. Heading down into this hairpin here. This is typically where they make up ground on me. I feel like, though, I'm actually kind of quick through this corner, but regardless, I remember how much I struggled in this car in the professional league event. Alright, coming into this right-hand sweeper. Alright, lap 2. Heading up the hill. Not the biggest gap in the world. About 1.7 seconds. Gonna round this corner here as we head down into that chicane. Imagine how fast that last corner would be if that chicane wasn't there and it just swept out a really long, well, on the normal track, a left-hand sweeper, but on this track, a right-hand sweeper. Like, imagine how fast it'd be coming down into this hill, down to this hairpin. It would be brutal. This right-hand sweeper. There we go. That front left is seeing some wear. I mean, granted, it's getting tortured out here on this run. Ran a little too sharp there. I mean, Apricot Hill's fun, but that one specific left-hander that somehow I've not botched so far, it's been a death of me this run. All right, heading back up the hill into lap 3. I'd say it's probably close to a 2-second gap. Right at a 2-second gap. I'm getting good at estimating that. All right, heading down into the chicane here. Hard on the brakes. Through we go. Easy peasy. Alright, into the hairpin we go. Heading back up the hill, we got a right-hand sweeper now. This is kind of fun corner. It reminds me a lot of the sweeper on midfield in a lot of ways. But if I remember correctly, these tracks were designed around the same. Actually, Apricot Hill, I think, was in GT1. I'd have to go back and look. Because midfield, I know, was GT2. And these fronts are starting to see some pretty dramatic wear. I'm hoping they can hang on for a couple more laps. I'm not able to take that corner like I used to. But it's going to allow the grid to catch up rather quickly, which is definitely not what I need right now. Here we go, first corner. Lap 4, just about a second and a half gap. See if we can get this thing to hang on for dear life these last couple of laps, because those fronts are seeing some wear. That sweeper, that long, in this case, right-hand sweeper at the midpoint of the lap is definitely eating these front tires alive. All right, into the hairpin. A lot of load in that front right. Here we go. Up the hill, through the Dunlop sign. We made up a lot of ground that we lost in that last little bit of the last lap. But we're entering that sweeper. We're probably going to start to see that front left go pretty orange at the end of this, because that tire is eating this corner. Ah, see, I'm just understeering red off track. Luckily, it's the grass, not the gravel. The grass in this game is a lot more forgiving than the gravel traps are. There's a lot of right-hand corners on this layout. Not a very balanced track in terms of how many left and rights there are. It's very, in this case, right biased. Here we go, into the chicane again, on the brakes hard. Alright, I just need that front left to hang on one more lap, and I think it's going to be sketchy, but it should hang on tight. Alright, coming through this kind of S section, down the hill into the hairpin once more, hard on the brakes. I'm going to take this corner. Alright, there we go, it's pretty alright. Wish I had swung it wide more, that was a really tight line. Through the formula sign and up into this long right-hand sweeper. This is rough. And that is a win. All right, we're bringing up the hill. And that is a race win. That was sketchy. That front left was really about to give out on us. If we had had a lap 6, more than likely we would have lost that left front. We would have had a bit. But, yeah, not too bad. Let's see what our prize car is. What do we get for this nearly 30 minutes worth of work? I don't know if you guys heard that. My neck cracked again. Is that that's a TRD Celica. Okay, I can get down with that. Now, I will say, when I did my original GT4 playthrough back in, like, what, 2019, 2020, I hated this car. But it is nice to see it again. Because I do like, that's my favorite gen of the Celica. I know there was no GT4 variant, there was no factory turbo variant of that generation of Celica, but I've always liked it. I've always had a soft spot for it. The TRD Sports M, so I believe this is, that's, revs only 7,500. Okay, so I don't think it's the same thing as the GTS. I think the GTS revs at least to 8,000, right? I don't know. But it is cool to see the TRD Sports M in the garage, because that's a really solid car. And I really like it. It's my favorite gen of Celica, and I really think that it is underrated. But, yeah. Alright, guys. I think we're going to wrap this one up here, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely still stuff to come on GT3. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.